Hi, I'm Cedric Sullivan, and I'm taking over Nerd Notes this week to give you a unique perspective on Texas Black history as told by Texas Black Future. While our state's history in regards to African Americans hasn't always been a positive one, many have made important social, political, and cultural contributions that have impacted our history. Martin Luther King once said that we are not makers of our history, we are made by our history. So sit up and listen to our story. This is Nerd Notes.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours.
Since nearly day one, people of color have played a pivotal role in the shaping of Texas history. In 1528, Estevanico, a North African Muslim enslaved, accompanied Spanish explorer Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca across the territory. He was one of the first non-native people to step foot on Texas soil, and an important member of the expedition because he could interpret the language of many Native Americans that they encountered.
Over the next 200 years, the population of Texas grew very slowly until 1821, when the first American settlers came to colonize the then Mexican territory. Many immigrated to Texas, bringing African American slaves with them to cultivate the farmland. By the time the Texas Revolution was settled in 1836, there were more than 5,000 African American slaves in the state.
The practice of slavery would continue to grow for the next 3 decades, helping to make our state an agricultural powerhouse, but also contributing to the causes of the American Civil War and Texas secession from the Union.
For African Americans in Texas, the Civil War brought freedom, but it did not come until Juneteenth. June 19, 1865, when Union ships arrived in Galveston and slavery was proclaimed illegal in all states. Today is an important cultural holiday, and African American communities nationwide celebrate Juneteenth with parades, concerts, cookouts, and family reunions.
Life for African Americans did not improve greatly right away, as most were too poor to own land and were subject to discriminatory laws and sharecropping, which kept them in debt to their former white masters.
However, 10 African American delegates joined the Constitutional Convention of 1868-69 to help write a new state constitution that protected civil rights, established the state's first public educational system, and extended the franchise to all men. Between 1868 and 1900, 41 African Americans served in the state legislature, and they helped to move the state toward democracy.
In the decades that followed, Black cowboys like William Pickett were leading the charge as some of our state's best cattle drivers and most outstanding rodeo performers.
There were also black regiments of the U.S. Army that protected the frontier in the late 1800s. These men were called Buffalo Soldiers by the Plains Indians out of respect for their fierce fighting ability. The 10th Cavalry Unit in Texas was actually led by Henry O. Flipper, the first African American to graduate the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Unfortunately, the U.S. Army remained segregated through World War II, but that didn't stop Waco's own Dory Miller from leaping into service during the bombing of Pearl Harbor. For his heroic actions, he became the first African American to be awarded the Navy Cross.
During the early days of the 20th century, women were also making an impact on history as Texas native Bessie Coleman became the first black female to earn a pilot's license and stage public fight in the U.S.
Just like other parts of the South, progress was slow in Texas. When it came to the civil rights, we too struggled with segregation and discrimination, but hope was not lost. Many leaders worked tirelessly for change.
In 1968, Hustonians elected Barbara Jordan to the United States House of Representatives, becoming the first African American in Texas history to represent the state in Congress.
Texas also has a long-standing tradition of outstanding African American athletes. There are boxing champs Jack Johnson and George Foreman.
There was Mr. Cub Ernie Banks, the Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell, and numerous other NFL Hall of Famers. Tennis star Zena Garrison, basketball legends Hakeem Olajuwon and Cheryl Swoops, and track icon Carl Lewis were all world champions and Olympic gold medalists.
Nearly every field of arts and entertainment features black Texans that have achieved great heights. Pulitzer Prize-winning author Annette Gordon Reed is a Conner High graduate. Legendary actress Felicia Rashad and Debbie Allen are sisters, and both are from Houston.
Forrest Whitaker of Longview and Jamie Foxx of Terrell are both Academy Award-winning actors, and legendary rap duo UGK hails from Port Arthur.
And who cannot forget the Queen Bee herself? Houston's own Beyonce is one of the biggest entertainers and fashion icons of the 21st century.
It's not a perfect history, but we are proud to be amongst the more than 3 million African Americans that call Texas home today. And we want to ensure that our stories are shared and our voices are heard. Malcolm X said the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. At Washington Junior High, we are doing just that.
I want to be a marine biologist.
I want to serve my country in the Marine Corps.
I want to be a crime scene investigator.
I want to be a welder and own my own business.
I want to study to be a computer scientist when I grow up.
I want to be a neurologist.
I want to serve my community by being a doctor.
I want to save my country in the Army.
And I would like to be an engineer. Our history, like our young lives, is a work in progress. Our future is only as good as we make it. So until next time, keep on chasing greatness, doing what you love.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.